Yo, yo, yo. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Freedom marchers, freedom lovers, freedom family, freedom fighters. Snapzilla Gorilla is in the building. Okay. What the fuck? Give me a Romeo Lima Charlie if you guys can hear me. Let me know. Let me know. Damn it. Let me know if y'all can hear me. All right. Salute, salute, salute. I don't know what the hell's going on, bro. Hold on. I don't know. I don't know. Let me turn. Can y'all hear me now? Give me Romeo Lima Charlie, y'all. Good afternoon, Mahari Nation. Coach B. Hudson. Rob Curtis in the building. I need another Romeo Lima Charlie. Give me another one. I need y'all. All right, for sure, for sure. Can't guard J, salute to y'all. Yeah. I was trying to do my music. I was trying to do my intro music, but it got all fucked up by the whatever. It is what it is. Listen, y'all. I want to play something for y'all real quick. So let me know if y'all can hear the system audio. Did y'all hear that? Excuse me. Let me know if y'all heard the system audio. Okay. Now, I'm going to play this. I'm going to play something else for y'all because I told people why Donald Trump was really going after Maduro in Venezuela. And I said that it had nothing to do with drugs. And over the past few months, people have came at me talking about this, that, and the third, and that these fishermen are actually drug dealers and all this bullshit. Oh, yeah, their little outboard motors are going to take them all the way to the U.S. I called it, yeah. Salute to Coach B. Hudson. I did call it. And nothing to do with drugs at all. I knew that right off the bat. And people came at me really hard because, well, guess why? Donald Trump is their guy, and of course it was the MAGA people. And this is the I have with these fat groups and these. It doesn't matter what it is, MAGA, Democratic Socialist, all these groups, man. Like, if you can't see the forest for the trees, then what good are you? You're not very good at all. You gotta be able to pull your head out of your ass. So I'm gonna play something for you real quick to show you that this had nothing to do with drugs at all. All right, so here we go.
Mr. President. Mr. President. Mr. President. Mr. President. Mr. President. Mr. President.
You said that the U.S. is going to run Venezuela. So who's in power right now?
Well, we're going to be running it with a group, and we're going to make sure it's run properly. We're going to rebuild the oil infrastructure, which will cost billions of dollars. It'll be paid for by the oil companies directly. They will be reimbursed for what they're doing, but that's going to be paid. And we're going to get the oil flowing the way it should be. As you know, it was just a minor flow. It was actually a minor flow for what they have. But we're going to run it properly, and we're going to make sure the people of Venezuela are taken care of. We're going to make sure the people that were forced out of Venezuela by this thug are also taken care of.
Now, that was 40 seconds. That was a 47-second admission of guilt, y'all. He did not mention drugs at all. He didn't mention drugs at all. All they did was ask him who's going to run the country now, right? And what did he say? He said, we're the group. What group are we talking about? A group of bankers? A group of special interest groups? A group of those individuals? Is that what we're talking about? Yes. So they're going to privatize the entire country of Venezuela. And they're going to grape it of all its resources. And all the MAGA people, everybody that's going to justify this, they're going to pretend like we're going to benefit from this. All right? Because they want the oil to flow. Right? OPEC is kicking their ass with the petrodollar, right? You know, they're allowing other countries to not have to use the US dollar, which is their right. Right, but they're not going to go at them like they went at Venezuela, are they? No, they're not. They wouldn't dare go after Saudi Arabia like they're going after Maduro, or like they went after Maduro. They would not kidnap the Saudi royal family like they kidnapped Maduro. They would not dare, right? So their only option was to put themselves in the position, right, to not have to. So what did they do? They set their sights on Venezuela, and they said, well, we're gonna dish a bunch of bullshit about narco terrorism and all this bullshit, right? But at the end of it, we're gonna attack tiny boats. We're gonna say, oh, those tiny boats had drugs on them. And at the end of the day, what it's really about is getting that oil, baby. Oh yeah, right? Because, you know, they already have the operations going on in Venezuela. They have the largest oil reserves. What is up with these fucking gas stations, man? God damn. I'm trying to get some damn gas. These motherfuckers, half the goddamn nozzles are fucking out of order. What the fuck is going on? Are we running out of oil? Why are half the pumps out of order? Why can't, what the fuck is going on? Shit. Anyway, listen, this puts the elites in a very powerful position, what they did in Venezuela. And they're going to convince you that it's the best possible position for the American people. They're going to try to convince you of that. Prices might even come down, right? Food prices might come down, oil prices might come down. What is that going to do? That's going to get us to say, you know what? I didn't like the idea of invading Venezuela. I didn't like the idea of trying to do a regime change in Venezuela. But look at all the prosperity that's going on. And what is that going? That's going to lull us right back to sleep. We're going to forget about the Epstein files. We're going to forget about the fact that government ain't shit. We're going to be like, you know what? Our government did this for us. I'm not going to forget, and I'm going to remind you every opportunity I get. You see, this is what's going to happen as well. You're going to have a lot of people in Congress, a lot of leftists, the Jasmine Crockett's and the Chuck Schumers and all these guys. They're going to come at you with the moral high ground. Oh, what we did in Venezuela is horrible. Oh, we shouldn't be doing that. We shouldn't be. The same shit they did when they were striking boats in the first place. When Donald Trump first violated international law, they said, you know what? This isn't right. Oh, this isn't a good thing. Yeah, they talked all that shit. Oh, yeah, they did. But what did they do? Did they call for Donald Trump to be arrested? Huh? The international court said that what Donald Trump was doing was illegal. But see, the international courts, they don't have arrest powers. It's up to the countries that these criminals and terrorists operate in. It's up to them to place their leaders under arrest. That's why Donald Trump is telling Israel to pardon Benjamin Nosferatu. Why? Because he is going to want that same courtesy. He's going to want to be pardoned, except no one is going to try to arrest him in America. Yeah, all these motherfuckers on either side of the aisle, they're not going to call for Donald Trump to get arrested. What they're going to do is they're going to open their pockets. Trust and believe. They're going to open their pockets and they're going to take whatever money they can get from the big oil companies. It's not just going to be big oil, right? Because it's also going to be the defense contractors, the private security firms, you know, the private militaries, the ones that get paid millions of dollars a year, the mercenaries. Yeah, they're going to get paid to guard these oil reserves, the refineries, the drilling stations, whatever it is. So this was a huge boon for the corporate welfare recipients that people like to call capitalists. But these aren't capitalists. We got the respect. We got to put respect on capitalist names. That is not capitalism. Using the government to commit terrorism, to enrich yourself, is not capitalism. At the end of the day, what we have going on here is positioning. Corporate positioning is a hostile takeover. That's what it is. So they kidnapped Maduro and his wife and flew him out of the country. Where did they fly him to? Where is Maduro? Oh, I gotta go get some gas. I got like one gallon and these motherfucking goddamn. Where is Maduro going? Where are they taking Maduro to? And his wife? I hope y'all understand that this man, Donald Trump, had a leader of a sovereign nation kidnapped. Yeah. The leader of a sovereign nation has been kidnapped on the orders of Donald Trump, a terrorist. I hope you guys understand that. Donald Trump is a criminal and a terrorist. But it's not just Donald Trump. It's the banks. All these motherfuckers. Pete Hegseth, anybody that has allowed Donald Trump to commit these terrorist acts, the government as a whole, yeah, they're terrorists as well. And when Congress comes back into session and they, they feign outrage and, they get in their pulpits and they talk all this shit. Yeah, when their donations increase and they shut the fuck up, guess what? Guess what? They will be accessories after the fact. I'm waiting to see who is going to call for Donald Trump's arrest. Immediate arrest. Immediate. Not, oh, well, we need to have a committee and, we need to talk about it, the 25th Amendment, and we need to do an impeachment. No. Fuck this impeachment. Fuck goddamn whatever bullshit they tried to pull with the Russiagate, whatever bullshit they tried to pull with trying to steal the election. No. No, that's not what this calls for. Yeah, listen to this fool. Yeah, Donald Trump is a fucking criminal. He's a terrorist. He arrested someone who was allowing drugs to be smuggled. Trump allows drugs to be smuggled right now. Yeah, the DEA, the CIA, our government allows drugs to be smuggled into this country. What are we talking about? He is a terrorist. Dumbass. He is a terrorist. You understand? Y'all don't want to hear it. Y'all don't want to hear the truth because you guys think this is a good thing. What was Maduro arrested or kidnapped for? See, Donald Trump didn't mention drugs in that press conference. No, he didn't mention drugs at all. He talked about oil, baby. Oh yeah. And Maduro himself, right a little bit before this happened, he said he's willing to work with and have conversations with our government about doing something about the drug smuggling. Yeah. Maduro said he would work with our government to stop drug smuggling. He said he would work with our government. They can invest in the oil. They can do however they want to do it. That's what Maduro said. So why not have a conversation? If you're concerned, if we're so concerned, right, about drugs being smuggled in here from Venezuela, and Maduro says, okay, I'll work with you about the smuggling. Let's work together on that. Why not have a conversation with Maduro? Why launch a strike in his country and kidnap him? Because how many times has Maduro said he's willing to have a conversation about whatever? That wasn't good enough. You know why? Because they don't give a fuck about drugs. If you think that the flow of drugs into this country is going to stop now, you are sorely mistaken. Because in regards to fentanyl, which they claim takes thousands and thousands of lives a year, well, that doesn't come from Venezuela, y'all. Fentanyl does not come from Venezuela at all. It goes through Mexico. At least the illegal fentanyl, right? But Big Pharma, they get fentanyl up in this country all the time. The opioid crisis is thanks in part to Big Pharma. What are we talking about? Salute to Mahari Nation. Salute to you, brother. Sure, we love the oil. Absolutely. I have I have a car that runs on gasoline. That's not the issue, though, is it? The issue is he attacked a sovereign nation, kidnapped its leader. And then once he was able to do that, he finally came out and said what was already known, was that this is about the oil. Oh, we about to make the oil flow, baby. And you think that we're going to benefit from that somehow because prices might come down a little bit. You think that, oh, look, I can go buy a pound of butter for $10 now instead of $17. But you think you're going to win something. You think you win it. When all that's happening is that the elite class is enriching themselves. Not monetarily, but in terms of resources. Resources, land. Enriched land. Land rich in resources. That is way more important than the price of a loaf of bread. Y'all don't know what this has done. You see? Y'all think that this is a victory. Can't fix stupid, dumb chump. Oh, I'm sure it made you happy because you Trumpers and MAGA people, y'all never really cared about the drugs either. Y'all didn't give a fuck about the drugs. Y'all knew what he was doing, and guess what? Y'all think y'all gonna win something from it, right? Maybe the farmers, right? Maybe the white farmers in the Midwest, maybe they'll get a bailout now, right? That's what y'all are hoping for. He's gonna throw you some crumbs, and you're gonna continue to kowtow. You're gonna continue to spread them cheeks open, and they're gonna shove a few more inches up your ass. That's what's gonna happen, and you're gonna be happy about it. Oh yeah, yeah. You think it's victory? I know. Those of you don't block these people. Listen, y'all, don't block them. If they are praising Trump for this, let them talk. I want people to see it. I want y'all to see the number of people that came into my chat before trying to justify blowing up tiny boats, talking about what's about the drugs. I want y'all to see how the tune changes when they think they're going to get something from it. Hold on, guys. I'm going to pump this gas, and I'm going to let y'all listen to some music. I'll be right back. Shit is crazy. Here, salute to Realize in the Bill, salute to Anarchy Television, salute to Empire. Thanks to Trump. I hope you guys understand what you guys are asking for. This guy procreated, absolutely. Yeah, I procreated so that my progeny can push your progeny out. Yeah, because you probably can't have that many children, unfortunately. Crybaby, sure. Congratulations on your freedom, Venezuela. You think that Venezuela's going to be free now? I want y'all to see this. See, this is why we remain enslaved. People like this. Trump ain't playing games. No, he's not. No. Terrorism is not a game. You're absolutely right. Did I see who's going to take Maduro's spot? Yeah, it's going to be the elite class. It's going to be big oil. It's going to be the defense contractors. That's who's going to take his spot. But they're going to place somebody in there, a puppet, to convince you that they're going to run the country. They're really not. See, they're going to drive Venezuela into the ground. They're going to do the same thing they did to Argentina when they allowed all those private corporations to go in there and just destabilize the entire country, destabilize their economy. Black Spring Autumn is in the building. Salute to you, Queen. Yeah, they love slavery. Yes. Trump for king. See what y'all are calling for? They're calling for Donald Trump to be a king, y'all. You can't make this up. I want y'all to see this. These people want Trump to be king now. You know what a king is? You know how a king rules? Y'all are crazy. This is crazy work, y'all. Crown your master, boy. I want y'all to see it. I want y'all to see this. Yeah, let these racists come out and expose themselves because they think Donald Trump won a victory. Crown your massa, boy. Yeah, okay. Stop supporting drug smugglers. Okay, so then why are you supporting Trump? If I should stop supporting drug smugglers, right? That's what you want me to do. You want me to stop supporting a drug smuggler. Why are you supporting Trump? Trump's a drug smuggler. I hope we don't understand this. Salute the Queen, Black Spring Autumn. She just dropped a link to my book on Amazon. Y'all go cop my book right now. Or if you have Kindle, you can get the ebook for free. Oh, I ain't gonna crash. Don't worry about it. This dude's definitely a PDF. Why are y'all trying to project onto me what Donald Trump is? See, Donald Trump's a drug smuggler. Every president of the United States since the war on drugs started is a drug smuggler. Our government are drug smugglers. The CIA is drug smugglers. What are we talking about? Mexico. What about all the cartels in Mexico? If we're going to take out all the drug smugglers, why aren't we doing that in Mexico? Can you help me understand that? Oh, I know, J-Man. How do we fix this? How do we fix it? Well, we have to decouple. First, we have to become self-sufficient. Right? Become self-sufficient. Get you some land. Make your land self-sufficient, self-sustainable. And then you decouple. Yeah. But you just got to be prepared. You got to be prepared, like, when you stop paying property tax. You got to be prepared to defend your land. But if this happens en masse in this country, we can really make something happen. But a lot of you guys will go back to sleep, right? Well, can y'all tell me what's going on with the Epstein files? Because a lot of you MAGA people called for the Epstein file. Y'all were mad at Trump, wasn't you? Oh, well, if y'all think them files are going to come out now, guess again, because they didn't come out. They're talking about impeaching Pam Bondi for not releasing all the files. Trump derangement syndrome, sure. That's what this is. Prices on cocaine just got higher. Probably, yeah. I would say so. Or they just got lower. I don't even know what the pretext was about in the first place. I don't even know why we used the pretext of Maduro being a drug smuggler or a drug narco terrorist. Why that pretext in the first place? Why not just come out? He said it before his first term, actually. He didn't even mention drugs the first term, where he wanted to do a regime change in Venezuela. He didn't even mention that. He talked about the oil back then. But why use the pretext in this term? Well, he used the drugs as a pretext so that he could kill innocent people in boats and get away with it, right? Really what that was to weaken, and that was to intimidate Maduro. That's what that was for. It had nothing to do with drugs. It had to do with Trump using Maduro's people, right, as missile fodder to weaken Maduro's position, right, and to give them the capability, right, of being betrayed or having Maduro betrayed by his own people. Because I can guarantee you that's how they were able to get Maduro. Somebody close to Maduro or somebody within Maduro's, someone close to Maduro, somebody in the security force, someone within the military betrayed Maduro. That's what happened. That's how these things work. That's how they were able to find him. That's how they were able to get him. They launched the strikes to throw them off, right? To throw security forces off. And they went in there and they grabbed him. You know, they probably did some type of breach or something. They probably assaulted a building. This is what they do. But, you know, they had to use intelligence, right? The CIA, to get assets to turn on Maduro. That's how these things work. Yeah, that's how these things work. Because I told you guys, I told a number of people that I rock with that they don't want to invade Venezuela and have a ground war in Venezuela. They don't want to do that. Right? They don't want to do that because it would be a disaster. No. What they want is for Maduro to be betrayed by his own people so that his people can betray him or kill him. They want a Gaddafi the motherfucker. If you guys are aware or familiar with Muammar Gaddafi, that's what they did to him. They didn't invade Libya. No, they used Gaddafi's own people to turn on Gaddafi so that they wouldn't have to do the work. Same thing kind of happened here. I said, listen, we don't want to go invade Venezuela, and neither does Trump, neither does the elite class, neither does anybody that's in control. The elite, they don't want that, right? Because that would just mire them in decades of needless war. No, they want to do what they did to Gaddafi. I thought they would kill him, you know, honestly. I thought that if they had the opportunity, they'd kill him. But they just had him arrested because if they killed him, well, that would be a huge problem, right? Because with Gaddafi, they were able to convince the world that Gaddafi, and it took them decades to do this. They built all this. They built Gaddafi over decades. They built him as some type of villain, and they hadn't been able to do that to Maduro. But they had to move fast, so they could not kill Maduro. They had to arrest him or kidnap him. So I know y'all mad at me for pointing these things out. What do I think about collectivism? Well, it depends on the scale of the collectivism and, you know, what it entails, right? I don't believe in collectivism beyond a degree where the people within that collective don't have their own sovereignty and don't have control over their own lives. Now, working together collectively, that's perfectly fine. Working in concert with other people voluntarily on your own accord is perfectly fine. But when individuals or groups try to control the collective, right, try to assert their power over the people within the collective, that's when it becomes a problem. So you got to be real careful with collectivism. What do you think? Oh, can't imagine where we would be at with Kamala's president. Probably in the same position. See, if Kamala was president, it probably wouldn't have happened. But it would have happened in the next term when a Republican got in there. See, y'all aren't focused on what I'm saying. You guys aren't focused on the truth. Donald Trump had Maduro kidnapped after launching strikes in his country. And he did it for oil. You can't make it up, Coach B. Hudson. You can't. Mamdani is pushing what in NYC? Collectivism? My problem with Mamdani, just to as an aside, is that he refuses to fire Jessica Kish or Jessica Tish. If you guys aren't familiar with Jessica Tish, I suggest you go look her up. She is the New York Police Department commissioner. She is bad business. She is bad news. Yeah, that's my problem with Mamdani. And another problem with Mamdani is that he's the mayor of New York. He is operating within the system of government. I can't trust people that do that. Right? I can't trust you, because even if you have good intentions, you're going to get sucked up by the system. The system is going to make you operate within the system. Anyway, New York ain't been hijacked. I don't believe in Mamdani. All that talk, all that rhetoric, you can talk a good game, but we'll see what happens when you actually get the opportunity. But, Jessica Tish, the commissioner of the New York Police Department, he didn't fire her, and he took money from George Soros. George Soros, Scott Bassett is George Soros's prodigy, basically. And Scott Bassett is the Treasury Secretary for Donald Trump. Yeah, Scott Bassett is the guy that got Donald Trump to bail out Argentina. But Scott Bassett is also has ties with George Soros. George Soros gave money to Mamdani. I don't trust him. Point blank and period. JD man says you'll never be a man. That's not what your wife said. She said, I'm the man. Realize says no one has to learn Spanish. Yeah, fuck out of here. What's Venezuela going to do? Well, it depends. It depends. It might be some. Listen, what's going to happen is our government, well, not our government, private security firms and private military, they're going to send mercenaries to Venezuela. When the corporations is going to send all their people out there to take over the oil, but they're going to have private security firms and private military firms to guard them, right? And there's probably going to be quite a bit of guerrilla warfare going on, and that's going to happen for quite a while. Right, because they got Maduro out of there, they're probably going to install some puppets, right? And now if they were able to get to the military, and the military is going to have the military stand down, but then you got to deal with the militias, right? The militias, the private militias in Venezuela might be a problem. Oh yeah, it's going to get nasty in the jungles, but they're not going to go into the jungles. They're going to stay away from them, right? See, this is why I said they don't want to do a ground invasion in Venezuela. They want to take out the president, right? They launched these strikes in the capital of Caracas and a couple of other cities. Airstrikes, right? But they're not trying to destroy too much, right? So they're going to go to the oil fields. They're going to go to the pumping locations with all that shit. They're going to fly in and out. And they're going to have security around all these places of interest in Venezuela. So they're going to be attacked. There's going to be attacks. But they're not going to go into the jungles. They're not going to need to now. Right? Dude, you're lost throwing darts at a board. Okay, sure. Ever heard of a power vacuum? That's not going to be an issue. They're going to install puppets. They're going to place them in power. They're not, and the power vacuum just makes Venezuela weaker, right? And that's going to give our government is going to take advantage of that power vacuum. They're going to place someone in there that's going to, listen, they probably already have certain things in place. They had to, right? They have to have assets within the Venezuelan military for this to have worked. Josh, that might very well be true. Venezuela might let America do whatever because they were able to get Maduro out of the country. That's just the unfortunate thing. Salute to the real Shelton. Salute to the brother. Someone says I don't have a clue what I'm talking about. Okay. Sure. Coach BS says Freedom Rider has been right on several things that has now come to pass. I have. I mean, yeah, I have. But y'all don't have to believe a thing I'm saying. Listen, this is what I said. I said back last year that Israel was going to strike Iran and have us strike Iran. That happened. I told you a number of things that was going to happen. Listen, I just see these things happening. I told y'all that they were not going to invade Venezuela. They don't want to do that. What they want to do is they want to extract. They want Maduro to step down, or they want to get Maduro out of there, or they want to kill him like they did Gaddafi. That's what I said. I said they're not going to invade. This is all that shit they were doing is posturing. No, they don't want to get mired in war like that. Not in Venezuela. No, they're going to do that. See, they're going to do that in certain countries, right? They learned their lesson from Afghanistan, right? It was a much bigger headache than anything. Iraq, they were a lot more successful, right? And that's why that didn't last that long. But then you had ISIS, right? They really don't want to create another ISIS in Venezuela. So what they're going to do is they're going to try to convince the people of Venezuela that, Maduro was a bad man. They're going to try to convince the people of people of Venezuela that they need America to come fix their country. They're going to convince the people of Venezuela that they're going to be prosperous if you accept the ruler that we put in place. That's what they're going to do. They're going to say, oh, yeah, you heard Trump. He said it. He said we're going to uplift the Venezuelan people and all this other shit. Right? That's what they're going to do. They're going to convince the people of Venezuela that they need America to be prosperous. Because he was talking about, oh, there wasn't a lot of oil flowing out of the country. We're going to make more oil flow out of the country. Do you see what I'm saying? This is what it's been about. Am I defending pardoned by... Oh, yeah, don't give me the start on Juan Hernandez. Yeah. Juan Hernandez, the former drug cartel leader that he pardoned. Listen, there's nothing to do with drugs at all. But you see, I'm sure I'm a moron. Yeah, but I've been right. I've been right on the money on a lot of things that I've pretty much proclaimed as factual, right? I don't just do that for no reason. I'm a moron though. I told y'all that Donald Trump was not going to invade Venezuela. He didn't invade Venezuela. He launched a unmanned drone strike and then flew choppers in to extract Maduro. How do you think he was able to do that? When they told y'all that they were going to use the CIA to create, to gain assets That's how they were going to do it. I knew. I said, no, they're not going to do a ground invasion. No. They're going to distract Maduro with these. I didn't say this, but what they did was they distracted Maduro. They intimidated Maduro with all these boat strikes, right? Donald Trump was talking all this shit about, oh, we're gonna do a ground invasion. We're gonna go on land. We're gonna do this and that. They were trying to convince you they were going to do launch a ground invasion. That's what they were trying to do. That's what they convinced Maduro of. Maduro was distracted. And somebody got to his people. I can guarantee you that. Somebody got to his people. They probably used Mossad. It was probably a Mossad, a CIA thing. And don't forget Machado, who they'll probably place in there. The so-called, the winner of the Nobel Peace Prize, Machado. The one that called for all this to happen. The one that called for Donald Trump to invade Venezuela and kill Maduro and get Maduro out of there. James Walton says, Freedom March, I believe what you're onto something. I'm just using common sense. Machado, the Nobel Peace Prize winner, called for this. So they're going to place Machado, a pro-Zionist, in Maduro's place. And the corporations are going to go in there. Trump just told y'all that. Yep, but y'all don't listen. See, it doesn't take a genius to understand what I understand. He told y'all that the corporations, the billionaires, the $1 trillion corporations, they're going to go in and they are going to invest in the Venezuelan oil industry. And we're going to pay them back. Donald Trump said that we're going to pay these corporate welfare recipients, the billionaires, these $1 trillion corporations, they're going to invest in Venezuela and we're going to pay them back? That's what he told y'all. And you think that he's doing this for you? Oh, it's a win. Oh, Donald Trump for king. Y'all are calling Donald Trump a king? Y'all say that he won something? Like y'all won something, right? You won nothing. No. The billionaires are going to invest in Venezuelan oil and gold and whatever minerals they have. And they're going to profit off of it. And guess what? All we're going to do, we're going to see some prices go down, right? Because we're going to have access to oil that is not going to take very long for us to get to it. It's right up the Gulf. That's all you got to do. The Pacific Ocean, right off the Gulf of California. Just go down, go south. Boom, easy exports, easy imports. Sure, it's going to boost the economy. They're going to convince you of that. But guess what? We are going to be owned by the corporations because we got to pay the corporations back. So they'll hide some tax in there somewhere. You just won't see it. See, they're brilliant at this. See, the banks have been running the country for quite a while. You understand? These bankers, they know what they're doing. These $1 billion corporations that are going to go into Venezuela and do what they do, they're going to operate tax-free. They're going to profit heavily, and they're going to operate within the United States tax-free. That's how they do that. Someone says not the banks, but billionaires. They're not mutually exclusive. Banks and what do you mean? Banks and billionaires. They're not mutually exclusive. I'm not brilliant. I'm just using common sense. This is just common sense, y'all. If you understand how this shit works, if you understand corporatism, not capitalism, let's not get that twisted. I'm an anarcho-capitalist myself. There's not capitalism. It's corporate welfare and it's corporatism. There's a difference. If you understand it, Listen, Donald Trump told y'all. Hold on, let me play this for y'all again. Maybe y'all didn't. Some of y'all wasn't here. He gave you the game plan right in your face. Yeah, he told you what's going to happen. Realize, says Rothschild banker serpent seed reptilian from what I've researched. Yes. Ken Garjay says, snap, this is just another example of government is no different than any other gang. Only difference is they have the wealth and the power. Well, they have more wealth and power. More wealth. And they convince you that their criminality is not criminal. You get what I'm saying? They're going to convince you of that. But I'm going to show you what Donald Trump said so that months from now, when they start bringing these corporations into Venezuela and they start exporting oil all over the place and you see prices go down and you're like, oh, thank God for Donald Trump because he has another 3 years, y'all. I'm going to tell you what you're not going to see. You're not going to see any Democrat pushing for Donald Trump to be arrested at all. They're going to talk all this shit. Oh, what Donald Trump did is wrong. Oh, well, we need to look into whether or not it's illegal. We know it's illegal. But guess what? Let's say a Democrat becomes president next term. And then you have a Democratic House, Democratic Senate, Democrat judge, whatever. Are they going to give Venezuela back to Maduro? Or are they going to continue operations in Venezuela through the corporations? That's when you really know. Yeah, they can talk all this shit. Oh, let's impeach Donald Trump. He just committed the worst crime in Venezuela. Let's impeach him. Let's do this. Let's do that. It's going to fail. It's not going to happen. They'll talk all this shit. Oh, yeah, they're going to talk all that shit. But when the Democrat president comes through and the Democrats have the House and the Senate and the executive, when they control everything, they're not going to say, well, what we did in Venezuela is wrong. Let's give Venezuela back to Maduro. Let's send Maduro back, give him his presidency back, and reverse it. No, they're not going to fucking do that. Are you kidding me? No. In 2028, not even Jill Stein, not the Green Party, not the White Party, the Purple Party, Red Party, Blue Party. None of them motherfuckers are going to give Venezuela their sovereignty and their nation back and their resources and their assets and their oil and their gold. They're not getting none of that back. None of it. Don't be surprised in 10 or so years if Venezuela becomes a U.S. protectorate where you won't even need a passport to go there. Don't be surprised if you can go to Venezuela without a passport. Don't be surprised when all the beach cities in Venezuela become nice, beautiful resorts and you can go there and enjoy yourself. Don't be surprised. You know what they're going to do? They're going to pay the people. They're going to give them shit. Come work at the oil refinery. We'll pay you. They might convince people of Venezuela that the U.S. occupying their land and their nation is a good thing. They might. They might convince you that this was a good thing 10 years from now, 8 years from now, 4 years from now. Oh, yeah, look, Venezuela is so prosperous now. It's so prosperous. And that's only going to be because Venezuela has the largest oil reserve in the world, the largest gold reserve in the world, nearly infinite in comparison to a country that we have no control over their oil with, right? All those Middle Eastern nations, OPEC, we can't control OPEC. We want to be on OPEC's level. Yeah, if you have oil, if you have OPEC level oil, like they do in Venezuela, but see, Venezuela, Maduro is very stingy about who got the goddamn oil, wasn't he? He kicked Chevron out of there. He kicked Shell out of there. And he exports only what he needs for his country to thrive. That's it. But now, oh yeah, Donald Trump told you, oh, we're going to let that thing flow, baby. Sure, I'm crying. But let me tell you what Donald Trump said. And then I'm going to go do my workout. I got to sprint today. I got to do some. Today is leg day. BRICS is a thing, absolutely. And that's why they had to do what they did in Venezuela. Otherwise, the dollar was going to collapse and our economy was going to crash. And that would be very, very bad for the elite class that run this country. But now that we have Venezuela, BRICS don't matter. It's very smart, very strategic, very, very, very beneficial for the elite class. Right? But the peaceful slavery is going to feel real good to y'all. The peaceful slavery that is going to be perpetuated by this action that you guys are excusing and even applauding. Oh yeah, that peaceful slavery is going to be real comfortable. Oh yeah. And when they put your ass in that 15-minute city, when they continue, listen, they're going to build all those servers, those server buildings, all those data centers. They're going to do all that. They're going to stack and pack your ass in these 15-minute cities, and they're going to have you right where they want you. And then the Epstein files, y'all will forget all about it. The Epstein files ain't going to mean shit to nobody. And they're going to have access to your children even more. Yeah. They're going to continue to have access to children all over the world that don't have the protection that our children have in this country. Yeah. And y'all will think this is a great thing. Absolutely, J-Man. We will be lulled back to sleep because we were waking the fuck up, wasn't we? We were waking the fuck up. And salute to Insane. Did I shout out Insane? I saw you come through a little bit earlier, brother. Salute to Insane. Nothing evil will last. Well, Trump's regime is over in 4 years, 3 years. It's not going to be nothing. I mean, it's not even Trump's regime. It's not Trump's regime. Now, this is what Donald Trump said about the terrorist attack that he committed in Venezuela.
Mr. President.
You said that the U.S. is going to run Venezuela. So who's in power right now?
Well, we're going to be running it with a group, and we're going to make sure it's run properly. We're going to rebuild the oil infrastructure, which will cost billions of dollars.
Rebuild the oil infrastructure, which is going to cost billions of dollars.
It'll be paid for by the oil companies directly.
It'll be paid for by the oil companies directly. It'll be paid for by the oil companies directly. No mention of drugs just yet. Yes, Mahari Nation, Trump is a corporate, he's a corporate puppet, exactly. And the next president will be a corporate puppet, and the president after that, doesn't matter if they're Democrat or Republican. Maduro's regime isn't benevolent. No regime is benevolent. No regime is benevolent. No government is benevolent at all. I'm not arguing for Maduro to be a ruler, but it's up to Venezuela's people to take care of their own terrorist and their own tyrant. Because what we have done in Venezuela was not in a tyrannical regime. We just changed it. Right? That's all we did.
They will be reimbursed for what they're doing, but it's going to be paid. and we're going to.
the corporations, the billionaires, they're going to be reimbursed. They're going to be paid. Yeah. You see, the billions of dollars that the corporations are going to put into Venezuela, it's going to be recouped very quickly. It's not going to be anything. So they're going to profit immediately, and so will the U.S. Absolutely. Will the U.S. profit off of this? Absolutely. But at what cost? At what cost? Kangar J says Maduro being a bad guy is just an excuse. Yeah, exactly. No different than Saddam. No different than Muammar Gaddafi. No different than Osama bin Laden. None of that. You got a compound bow? Salute to you, Flying Guillotine. Yes, that is one of the weapons of choice of the main character in the Seeds of Dark Matter disease. Absolutely. Think about it. Yes, our country will profit off of this terrorist attack. So will the corporations. They will profit. Do you think the government wants the economy to be bad forever in the United States? No. They want us to go through ups and downs in the economy so that they can do something to save the day, to justify their existence. We are on the verge of another Great Depression. And what did they do with the first Great Depression? What did they do? They introduced social programs, right? To help people. They introduced unemployment. They introduced all kinds of things to help people. Social programs. And it convinced the people that the government was necessary when they caused the Great Depression in the first place. This latest economic depression that we're in right now was created by the government. But now they're going to save the day with Venezuelan oil, and they're going to convince you that they're necessary. It's a game as old as time. Right? People are going to, people are on the verge of, they're using all these credit cards to pay for everyday things. They're putting themselves in great debt. All these things. Listen, I'm gonna tell y'all. The government, the economy is going to recover. Jobs are going to come back. Jobs are going to open up in Venezuela for Americans. Jobs will open up in the United States. There will be manufacturing again. All these things may happen. All these things. The economy will recover, and they'll convince you that if we hadn't invaded Venezuela, or if we hadn't got Maduro out of there and taken over Venezuela, this never would have happened, or we wouldn't recover. They'll convince you that the actions of the government of the United States got us out of this economic downfall. Now, I'm not into invest. Well, I do invest, but I'm not like an investment guy. I'm not into that. I don't give trading advice or none of that. But I wouldn't be surprised, since Donald Trump is talking about the big oil companies. I wouldn't be surprised if people invested in oil companies and made some money. Yeah, you might make some money in the stock market, in oil futures, and all that type of shit. Oil and energy stocks. I would not be surprised if one invested in oil and energy stocks if you made quite a bit of money. And then people are going to come. They're going to come to me. They're going to say, look what happened. I'm going to be talking about the government bullshit. And y'all going to come in. Well, look, Trump is going to do some crazy shit over the next 3 years, probably 30 or 40 different things. Somebody says, oh my God, shut up. How about you get the fuck out of here? There. Someone says, ban me. Okay, I got you. If you want me to shut the fuck up, and if you're asking to be banned, I'm going to oblige. Thank you. Oh yeah, y'all gonna come in here. Well, look what Trump did. Trump got us all this oil out of Venezuela. He got us jobs and look at our economy, it's recovering. Oh yeah, y'all gonna come tell me that shit. Yeah. And when I say months from now, where's the Epstein files? Where are the arrests? Y'all ain't gonna give a fuck. Anyway, y'all, I gotta get out of here. Signaling Cuba next. Caesar wants it all. Why not? Why not take over the entire South America? Why not? See, when they clear all the jungles, they're going to clear the jungles in Venezuela. Why not? Why not eradicate more jungles all over the world? That's what they're going to do. And no Democrat, no Republican is going to ever return Venezuela back to its people. They're going to talk all this shit, and then when it's their turn, they're going to continue operations. Being pro-Maduro is crazy. Yeah, because what did Maduro do to the United States? What did Maduro, being anti-Maduro was crazy. When Maduro has done nothing to us. Venezuela has done nothing. They told you that he released all these prisoners. They told you that, but they invited them. Our government invited these people. So Maduro said, okay, take these motherfuckers. So that's the only thing I can see that you could say that Maduro did was release prisoners and send them to the United States. But guess what? Our government allowed them in. Oh, sure, he's starving his own people. How do you know that? How do you know that? Because I don't know if he's starving his own. I've never proclaimed to know that or not. But I do know that people that research and know Venezuela, has gone to Venezuela multiple times, reporters and journalists, they say that Venezuela is food secure. They're food secure, meaning their people aren't starving. This is what I've been gotten from people that have gone to Venezuela, have visited Venezuela multiple times, that have talked to the people of Venezuela. Venezuelans are celebrating in the streets. Sure, some Venezuelans might be celebrating in the streets. Sure. Just like Muammar Gaddafi, some Libyans were celebrating in the streets right before they started enslaving people. An enemy was captured. Maduro was your enemy? What did he do to you? Whatever. Y'all gonna believe what you want. I gotta get out of here. Thank you for coming through. Thank you for hitting the like button. Thank you for not hitting the like button. Thank you for your comments, even whether you agree with me or not. But we're gonna see what's happening. But anyway, let's see what's going on. Look out. Yeah, sure, another idiot. Why not? Much love, like, share, subscribe, and guess what we're gonna do? Keep marching forward toward freedom and truth. Even if you don't want to fucking hear it. I don't give